Greetings collectors and welcome to today's retro game review. Today I'm taking a look at an arcade classic from 1989. It's time to escape from the planet of the robot monsters. As the name might suggest, the aim of the game is to escape from the planet of the robot monsters. This B-movie sci-fi game mashup is somewhat of a cult classic with gamers of my generation, although in recent years it seems to have slipped through the cracks without much notice of future generations of gamer. The plot is nicely summed up in-game, as the opening sequence runs you through your briefing through a series of comic book style animations. It's done in a very charming way and really sets the tone for the game well. You'll play as Jake and Duke in an isometric based playfield of a robot factory, where hostages are being forced to create an evil robot army. Your task is to fight off the hordes of robot monsters and rescue the hostages. The controls take a little getting used to. The nature of isometric perspective is never the easiest playstyle to get used to, but it works reasonably well here. To rescue hostages, simply run over them to free them from their workstations and watch their high energy animations. Be careful though, as there are usually screenfuls of robots to contend with, and this is the real essence of the game. Wave after wave of robot monsters will attack you. Often you'll find yourself boxed in or situations where you are vastly outnumbered. Thankfully the game designers compensated for this by a decent amount of player lives, and this evens the odds up a little bit. You are armed with bombs, but your main weapon will be the standard laser. This will slowly upgrade in strength. As you kill the robot monsters, some will drop green energy orbs. Collecting these will add strength to your gun. Between the rounds, there is also an opportunity to win an extra life in the cyber sled stages of the game. The task is to get to the end of the canyon course within 30 seconds. There will be dead ends though, making this quite tricky. Interestingly, these stages only appear in the 16-bit editions of the game, so it's another reason I've chosen to hunt down the Commodore Amiga version, rather than any of the other home editions. The game experience is very much that of the arcade. It's simple, fast and fun, with very little to get in the way of a good time. The graphics are basic, but they fit the overall theme of the game. The sound effects are limited and the music track can get slightly annoying due to its repetitive nature, but all in all, this is a solid arcade to home conversion. Escape from the planet of the robot monsters was ported to numerous home systems, each with their own unique quirks. I personally favour the Commodore Amiga version for several reasons. I find it to be the closest port to the original arcade version for one. The edition that we're looking at here is the large case edition. This is also sometimes known as the Flight of Fancy special version, as it was not sold individually at retail, but it was sold as part of a compilation package. The front artwork is everything that you would want it to be, a highly stylised, colourful piece of artwork in itself. The pop art cartoon feel continues on the rear of the packaging. Inside the case you get the all-important floppy disk. The inside cover also doubles up as the game manual and a supplementary comic. Again, the artwork with this package is very consistent and I think it works very well as a piece of marketing. The hardcore escape from the planet of the robot monsters collectors will want this edition of the game for the spelling mistake on the cover. The manual, as well as the in-game references, reference Player 2 as Duke. However, the outer packaging refers to Player 2 as Link. It's a small mistake, but one that makes this edition of the game more desirable than some of the others. Prices for this edition of the game are fairly stable. Pay no more than £5 if you're in the UK, and if you're in the US, I suggest paying no more than $5 to pick this one up for your collection. There is a big box edition of the game that can fetch close to the $20 mark if it's in mint condition. Other than the outer cardboard box, there's very little difference between these editions though. Having played Escape from the Planet of the Robot Monsters from when I was younger, I'm pleased that the game hasn't aged too badly. It's a bit clunky in places, but the charm of the sci-fi B-movie feel does more than enough to make the game stand out as a lost classic. For the relatively low entry price to collect, I would highly recommend to anyone looking for some colourful retro fun. Hello again, I hope you enjoyed today's show and thank you for the view. Remember, you can always comment, like, subscribe and find us on the social media sites below. Happy collecting!